Good. Oh. Alright, what's up? My name's Thomas, also known as Teal Productions. If you've seen me around the field, you see I've got a lot of equipment on me. This is basically just a video of me going through, setting it up all from scratch. This doesn't even have a cage on it, or battery, or SD cards. So I'm going to be going through step by step how I put everything all together, the little tips and tricks that I have like this will be done in line, but this is my setup for my V-mount. It's 3 things put into one, so it's really easy to just pop into the camera and set it up, and it's instantly just ready to go. It takes less time for setting up, and it's a lot easier when I get to the shoot. So let's get right into it. So first off, I have the Sony a7 IV. It's full frame mirrorless. It shoots, I believe, 24 megapixel photos, and it can shoot 4K, 24, 30, 60 frames per second, and then in 120 frames per second it goes to 1080p. Oh, and with 4K 60 it goes to a 1.4 times crop. This also, because it's full frame, can go to that 1.4 times crop with just this button right here that I've customized to it. So if I really need to get up close, or if I have like a telephoto lens and I really want to zoom in that extra little bit to get up even closer, it downgrades the photos from 7K to 4K. So that's some useful information there. But here's what we got. We got just the camera. We gotta put Sony battery into it. So you do that, you close the latch, it's auto set, ready to go. On this side here, pop it open, and then I've got a 64 gigabyte card. But so I put that in my second slot down here at the bottom. That's where all my photos go in. And then I have a dedicated 256 gig card for recording. In 120 FPS at 1080p, I get like 8-9 hours worth of recording. It's overkill. But when I'm doing weekend shoots and I have like multiple games I have to go to, instead of unloading them and putting them onto a hard drive, I can keep shooting and keep recording through the whole weekend, and then throughout the week I can come back and sort through all my footage the way I need to. So that's the setup there for the camera. Now I gotta put cage on it, because otherwise I can't put any attachments on it, because it doesn't have any mounting points except for this bottom one right here. And that's where this comes in. This is the small rig cage. It's the Hawk Lock one. It came with a handle, and it also comes with an HDMI lock on the side, which we'll get into in a minute. I got the tools I need for it, and then all you have to do, it's really easy and simple. You just take your camera, you slide the cage right over it just like that, and then you lock it in. There's a pin right here that gets locked in, and then you screw it in on the bottom thread right here that goes into the center of the camera. So let me do that really quick. Oh, the other nice thing that it comes with, and I love this feature, on the bottom of the cage, and this is why I love smaller stuff. I know other companies do it too, but it comes with the key that you need right here, so you can lock it and then tighten up the screw on the side, and it's with magnets. It just slides in right there at the bottom. So I'm going to screw in this bottom one first, just so it locks in a little bit, but I'm not going to go all the way tight with it. I'll leave it a little loose, just so this has a little bit of wiggle room, so that I can screw in this screw over here. And then you take this tiny little screw right here, and you pop it in. Alright, so that screw is almost in. I'm going to go back in and finish tightening up this bottom piece, making sure that it's still aligned so I can still access the battery door. Go pretty tight on this. Not super tight, but tight enough so it doesn't move really at all. And this top pin just locks it in even more, so it can't get that going back and forth. And that's pretty much all it is for the cage. This bar up here, you can buy these separately, but this is part of the Hawk Lock system right here. Make sure that's tightened down with this Allen wrench. And then this is where I put my top handle right here. This is the top handle that came with it from SmallRig. It's all quick release, so you push in this little knob right here and it locks down. So I push it in and I just slide it on over the handle here, and that's it. So that's how I lock in my handle right here. Next, this is where the V-mount comes in place. It's 3 separate pieces. The first piece is the plate that I have from my SmallRig tripod. It's your basic like tripod mounting plate. Looks like that from looking down. I have it screwed into the SmallRig. This is the V-mount battery plate. It's not the one with rods. This is the one that just has, it's all quick release again. So I have my tripod mount on it. That way I don't have to keep taking it on and off. And then I just leave this loose so that I can just fold it up and pack it in easy into my bag. This right here is the original 99 watt, I gotta charge it, but this is the original 99 watt from SmallRig. It's great. I use the D-tap on it for my monitor, and then I have the top ports for power to add charge into my camera. So the way I do it, I have my plate right here, and it just snaps in just like that. That's it. And then this whole system right here, I open it up, and then this right here, the Arca Swiss plate at the bottom, just slides onto the bottom of the built-in adapter piece on the bottom of the camera. So it just slides in just like this, just like that. Super simple and easy. I line it up the way I want, and then this latch right here, I just tighten down and close it, and then I flip out my screen so I can still have access to it. I put this back up, and then I tighten this down, and then I flip back my screen. There it is. The other thing, this is what I was saying why I love SmallRig. The bottom of my tripod plate, it's got a magnet for another Allen key, which works with this and also the top piece up here because they're the same size. So it works really well that I just have this all the time with my rig. And that just fits right there. So this right here, this whole setup, it's really tiny, really easy to move around, take on and off a tripod if you need it. Just really simple. Now we're gonna get into the more fun stuff. So this is the 28-75 f2.8 from Tamron. I don't have the lens hood on it right now, but you'll probably see me walking around with this for all the pre-game stuff. It's just perfect. I can zoom in, zoom out. It's not like a fixed focal length, so it's perfect for shooting the B-roll. Getting up close for players warming up, stretching, things like that. So when I'm taking photos, I use this if I'm like up on the sidelines, really up close. But I'm not gonna put that on for this. I'm gonna put on the other lens that I have, which is the 70-200 Mark II G Master from Sony. This is the thing, it's the best thing ever. It's constant aperture at f2.8, even when it zoomed in at 200 mil. So that's just great. You can take off the handle if you don't want that extra weight. It's an internal zoom, so it's waterproof. It has the aperture ring right here, so I can control the aperture. I can make it go quiet if I need to as well for video. I don't use this that often. A lot of times I just leave it to auto because I'm so used to using it on the camera. The buttons on the side here, you've got auto and manual focus, full-time DMF, I always leave that to on. The next one down is the full to, and then the infinity to 3 meters, that's for the focusing. The only time I've put it to the 3 meters is when I'm at like a fence for baseball and I really don't want it to focus on that fence if I'm just not completely close up to it. It just minimizes that aspect of it so I don't have to worry about it. Then you have OSS. I always leave that to on. You have to for sports. and then you have your modes. One is like your standard taking photos on a tripod or a monopod. It's easy stuff. 2 is like getting into sports, which is why it's set to 2, and then 3 is for like completely handheld, and you're like running around and you're just constantly moving. I switch between 2 and 3 a lot. I almost never go to 1 just because I'm always moving with my rig. And then you have the iris or block right here. You leave that on, you can't move the aperture ring at all. And then you unlock it and then you can use it. This goes from f2.8 all the way to f22, so it's really good for a lot of range of things. It's also Sony's newest 7-200. It's a lot lighter than the original and it's faster autofocusing. So it's the best thing ever. And then around the top you have 3 of these customizable points. I have it set to holding focus so that when I'm locked on someone, I can just press and hold that and it'll stay focused on the player the whole time. And I have this on the other one, but I have a UV filter on here for shooting when I'm just as extra protection for my glass, and it's UV protection, so it's a bonus. So we're gonna put this on the rig. So before I put it on the rig, I have this little handheld duster here. It's really nice. It's like 10 bucks Amazon. It helps to get, if there's any dust inside the lens, you just blow that all out. Do it on the same for the mirror. And then that just helps with getting the large particles of dust off that might show up. It just locks in just like that. And now you've got a really basic setup, but we're not done yet. Top handle has another job. The monitor. This is the OSS Little Mon 5. It's like 200 bucks, but it's super good. I have it with a I have an SD card in, like a 32 gig. What is it? I have a really cheap 32 SanDisk card put in there, and that has my user LUTs on it. So I can program LUTs onto this so I can see what it'll look like with my color grade. I can charge it either with a battery or I can plug it in, which is what I normally do. But if I'm shooting those B-roll shots and I want to save the battery on my V-mount, I'll end up putting MPF battery on here. And then I also have it paired with, this is a SmallRig quick release. So you just pull down on this handle right here, and then you can just pop this whole thing off. And it's just a little piece on the bottom there. This just makes it really easy for taking on and off when I need it or I don't need it. And that just locks in just like that right there. So do it one more time. Snap it in, lock it, it's done. And then on the bottom is the Hawk Lock release. It slides on right here like this. I line it up, and then you just push that down, and it locks in place. Now you have your monitor on. The build's getting a little beefy now, but we're not done yet. We got one more major factor here. Audio. You gotta have a strong audio system. So I don't have the most expensive option. It's 100 bucks. It's the Rode Wireless Go 2, and then I have a dead cat on it. So basically, this just fits on the shoe mount on the side of the cage, and then the audio comes right from this cable, this audio jack, right into the camera. Audio is definitely one of those things that you need to have when shooting sports, because it allows you to, a shotgun mic like this will allow you to pinpoint where you want the audio to be. So I can, even though there's a lot of crowd noise around me, because I'm on the field, I can pinpoint wherever this aims, it will pick up audio. So like after someone scores a touchdown, or there's baseball crack of the bat, something like that, I'll hear that audio crisper than the people screaming and yelling behind me. So it really allows for that, it allows for that good quality. So we're gonna put that on the rig now. So bring this back in. I'm taking it in and out because I don't have the space for it, but right here on the cold shoe mount, I just slide it on over, just like this. And then I tighten down the screw on the bottom till it's almost tight. I still leave it loose. And then this is our step where we start adding cables and wires. So on the side of the camera here, you've got HDMI, and then I've got USB-C and multi. The multi you would use if you have like a gimbal or you're trying to control something off of the camera. I don't have a gimbal yet, so I don't really use that, but I do use the USB-C from the V-mount to keep charge on my camera. Even though I have 2 batteries, sometimes on long shoot dates, I just forget to charge it or it runs out of battery, and that's where this comes in. Up above that, you've got headphone out, so if I have earbuds or something, I can plug them in so I can hear what I am listening to. I don't always use that just because it's another cable in the way, and a lot of times I'm just in the action anyways, so it's just easier if I don't do it. And then up top you have your audio input, so we're going to take our cable from the Rode and just plug it in right there. And now we're going to bring in our other cables. So this is the HDMI lock that comes with the cage as well. So the way that this works is you screw it in here, and then as the screw ends up getting tighter, it takes these 2 pieces and kind of like shifts them, and it causes a lock to happen on the HDMI. And what's nice about this is the HDMI cable is cheaper to replace than the internal port on the HDMI cable. So what I have, this is from Condor Blue. It's the Angle 4K like 5-inch coiled cable. And on the one end that goes into the camera, I have this little dongle from Amazon because the HDMI with the angle grip is too short for this to be used. So I bought, this is like $3 or $4 on Amazon. It's just a 8K adapter, and I use this to go into the camera so that this gets locked on the threaded, because these 2 things are a lot easier to fix if they somehow snap versus the internal cord on the camera. So I'm going to plug this in to the HDMI, and then this threaded piece will just screw in and it locks in, and now this whole thing is not going anywhere. So if this gets snapped, it'll break these pieces and it won't break the internal part on my camera. So we're going to take this cable and we're going to route it through underneath our audio, our shotgun mic, and we're going to go and we're going to put it to the HDMI in at the top of the monitor. And now we have HDMI going to our monitor from our camera. Next up, we have a USB-C angle to USB straight, and this was also on Amazon. I'll link all the stuff that I have in this build and all the cables and everything and where I got it from down below in the description. This is what I use to power from the V-mount battery to the camera. So I take the angle part and I put the angle into the V-mount, and then the straight part goes into the camera. So open up the flap, and the angle piece, angle piece goes right there in the camera. This just kind of folds back over it, and then this right here comes down and plugs right there into the camera. It's like a perfect fit. So now we have power going from the V-mount, keeping the camera charged. And also, if you look, there's the screen, and it's telling me what I have plugged in now, and it's telling me how much wattage is being pulled from the battery into the source. And then last but not least, we have to get power for my monitor. So instead of using a battery, a lot of times I use this cable. This is a D-tap to 16 volts or 12 volts. This plugs into the back of the monitor, and it's a threaded version that screws into the back part of the monitor to leave this screwed in so it can't get pulled out by accident. And then it goes into D-tap on the side of the V-mount battery, and that keeps it plugged in, so I never have to worry about running out of battery mid-game, which was a pain when I had it. You get all the way up and it's like a touchdown's about to happen, and all of a sudden the screen goes black and you have to go off of the tiny little like 2 or 3 inch flip out screen. You just don't want to do that. We're going to plug it into the back of the monitor, and then we're going to screw it in, and then we're going to run it through here. And this is just a short little magnet piece that came with it. It just sticks together just like that. This helps for tightening up the cables, which I'll do after. So I'm going to run this through in front of the microphone, underneath the power right here to the camera. I'm going to loop it up and around, face it this way so you guys can see it. And then I'm going to open up my D-tap port and then make sure the positive and negatives line up, and then plug this in, and you'll see that it turns blue, so that means that we have power going to it. And last but not least, and I don't always use this, and I normally use it if it's really bright and sunny, but I have a VND and polarizer filter from Polar Pro, and this is the Peter McKinnon Edition 2. So I unscrew this cap right here, and the nice thing with this is that I never have to touch the glass because it's got this nice outer shell. And then this is also for storage, but this is my step-up ring for 67 to 77, which goes on the other lens. And conveniently, it just pops right there perfectly into place, so I'd never have to worry about losing it. It's always right there. What I do is take the lens cap off, and then you screw this on, just like so, and then you just peel this off, and there it is. And now this is a 2 to 5 stop varying ND filter, so the stops and stuff, they just help when it's really bright. Instead of having to change my shutter speed or my aperture, I can leave those the same so that I don't mess up any other camera settings and make the video not as smooth. And I want the nice looking f2.8 where it's blurred out background and crisp foreground. So instead of having to make that go to like f6 for the sun, I just throw this on and then adjust it to where I need it to be. The other thing is that this is a polarizer filter as well, so rotating with the bezels here on the sides, I can have polarization on or off, so that also helps with taking out glare in the face mask, or if I'm using my other lens and I'm at like a car shoot or a car meet, I can take out the reflections on the glass, which makes it just look 10 times better. And the colors on this also look really nice because it's their chroma glass. That's pretty much everything for my whole setup. The only other thing would be I have the Rode Wireless Pro Mic kit, which is what you're listening to right now. It's taken a lot of work saving up and, you know, taking the money I get from games and investing it right back in so I get better equipment to give better quality to you guys. That'll be it for today. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, just leave them down in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.